In this lecture, we will cover a very fundamental concept to JavaScript, known as object-oriented programming. We will first introduce you with the concept of how to make objects. So let's start off with the first exercise. So we will create our object. In this case, let's assume we are creating an object called a car. So we will begin with declaring a variable called car. And if you actually think of software in terms of objects, it's fairly simple. And what we are doing is we try to virtualize an actual object. And in this case, if we are creating a car object, we can think of certain attributes to the car. For example, let's assume a few attributes that are important for us. For example, when you describe a car, you can talk about the make. In this case, let's identify that to be a Ford. We can also identify a car via its model. In this case, let's say it's a Ford Mustang. And what else is important? Well, horsepower is fairly important. So if we are defining an object, let's say horsepower would be an attribute. And let's give it an attribute of 300 horsepower and the color of the car. In this case, red. Now we can add more and more attributes as we're defining our object, but this is a small sample of how we will define our object, and this is what's important for us. So the other thing is, once we have defined our object, we can go ahead and start showing and displaying object attributes on the screen. And we can simply go ahead and write the attributes by simply making a reference to the car object and writing that on the screen. We can go ahead and separate the lines that we are defining or displaying on the screen, and we'll simply repeat this for all the other attributes of a car. So I'm going to go ahead and copy the various attributes here, like so. We set that car make, model, as well as the horsepower is important for us, for our object, and we will also go ahead and print out the color. And what's happening inside the caret signs and a quotation is that's a line break, and this is the first time you're seeing this. So let's try to run this program, and there you have it. So what we've done is we've actually defined a car object, and we can access individual attributes within that car object by using the dot notation. So this is your car object, and this is the attribute for the object. So in the next example, let's try to do something in terms of using the attributes that we have for a car in terms of making decisions. So we showed you how to use an if statement in the beginning. So let's say we are making a decision based on the attribute of a car. So if car.color equals red, we can actually go ahead and do a document.writeLine through Mustang driver. Whereas if the car color is not red, we do an else statement, document.writeLine, and we simply specify the color of the car, and in here we concatenate, and we simply make a comment, a gray color, by specifying the name of the color. So if we were to run this, let's quickly fix a little typo here, right line. So we should run this. So let me do a line break so we don't have all the minor issues here. reduce this. Ignore the warnings for a while. This is a web-based interpreter, therefore you'll see certain warnings that aren't really relevant for us. So if we were to run this, now we get a output here. Now if I were to change the color of the car here to, let's say, blue, and if I were to run this again, we will see blue is a great color. So this example, I've shown you how to create an object and display the object attributes on the screen, and then from there make decisions with if-else type decision structures to basically run commands and use the attributes of the car object the way you want it. In this case, all we're doing is showing the attributes here and then using the attributes to execute additional statements that are part of the if-else structure. Thank you.